Om Shanti. Let's begin with Shiv Baba's remembrance. I, the soul, am in my most auspicious, benevolent time. This world is a world of time and space. In this world, I am a traveler, traveling through time. In my journey in time, I, the soul, take bodies, leave bodies, then take newer ones. I am the same, but I have changed many costumes. With every new body, in every new birth, I do karma, form relationships, create sanskars. I take a body, come into relationship with the bodily relations of that birth. Do karma, create karmic accounts, create sanskars. And then I leave that body, take another one. and I carry my karma and sanskars. I have been doing this for a while now. And here I am, I the soul, in this body, in this context, in this birth. This is not my only birth, not my only body. Not my only bodily relations. And this is the beautiful time of awakening. The only time when Shiv Baba, the light, is giving me the light of knowledge. In this beautiful time, I am seeing myself as I am. I see myself in my originality. As the pure, free being that I am. I am not the body. I am separate from the body. I have no bondages. I am a pure, peaceful being of light. As I receive the light of knowledge from my Father, I can see who I am. I am the pure, shining, radiant, peaceful star of light. I am bondage free, free of all weaknesses. I am pure and powerful. My thought and my feelings are my creation. My experience of life is my creation. I'm free. I'm in charge of my life and destiny. I'm a happy soul. My life is a joyous ride. In this knowledgeful state, just sit with these thoughts for some time. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. We understood that Shiv Baba is creating a new world through Brahma, and he is also giving us the ornaments of purity of word, thought, act, so that we become eligible to live in that world of purity that He's creating. Because when we go to that new world, we will live in that world, and we need purity of thought, word and act, the sanskar of purity of thought, word and act to continue to live in that world. And Shiv Baba is preparing us for that also. So the four alankars of Vishnu, when we imbibe now, then we become eligible to go to that new world, that golden aged world, where there is purity in every aspect of life. Now today we will very briefly discuss Shankar, and then we'll try to understand the new chapter. So this is the picture of Shankar, and then there is destruction of old vicious world through Shankar. So there is the creation of the new world, there is the sustenance of the new world, and then for the new world to come, the old world has to destroy. And this destruction happens through Shankar. Now what is Shankar? So we make a distinction between Shiv and Shankar, right? So when we say Shiv Baba is the point of light. Shiv Baba doesn't have any corporeal form. Shiv Baba is this point of light. But in the world, they say this is equivalent to this. So this Shiv is Shankar also. But Shiv Baba tells us that this is an image of you. This is not an image of me. And what does this image denote? This image denotes a tapasvi, somebody who is doing tapasya or deep meditation. And that's why you see the disciplined posture, the half-closed eyes, and these are the symbols of a tapasvi. So Shiv Baba says that the world is destroyed, the old world as we say it is destroyed when we children do tapasya. And how does that happen? You see, there is a law that says when two opposing powerful forces they collide, then there would be destruction in the world. So you see that Shiv Baba is giving us the power of positivity or the power of purity, peace, love, and we are creating that force in the world through our collective consciousness. So you see, if I am sitting here and you are sitting there, you're sitting in your respective cities, countries, right? We are on Zoom, but then you're sitting at different places. But then when we are meditating together, we are creating a collective consciousness. So our minds are connected. Do you know that when there is a new research in the world, then that research needs to be filed for a patent as soon as possible. Why? Because until many years, nobody thought of that research. But once somebody thinks about it, then other people also start thinking about that same research in different parts of the world. And then there is always this thing that, 4 or 5 or 10 people are doing the same research at the same time. And that research was not done until now, but now everybody starts doing it at the same time. Why? Because just like, just like this physical world is connected with each other, even our minds are connected with each other. And then when I think in a certain frequency and you are thinking in that same frequency, we connect. And then even those who are not thinking in that same frequency, they also start getting some part of what we are thinking. And this creates a positive force, and that is why, it is recommended that we do meditations together. So, when you are a BK, then you meditate at 4 a.m. collectively. So, 4 a.m. to 4:45 is the time for us to meditate. And wherever you're sitting in the world and meditating, you're part of a group. You're not alone. So, you may be sitting alone at home, but you are part of a collective consciousness, because many Baba's children are meditating at the same time. And then there is a collective meditative time for evening, 6:30 to 7:30 in the evening. That is also called Numa Sham Yog. So the morning one is called the Amrit Vela Yog, and then the evening yog is called Numa Sham Yog. And in that Numa Sham, we collectively meditate so that we change the consciousness of the world. Now, what we are doing is we are creating a force of positive or powerful consciousness. And then you see other people in the world, what are they doing? They are creating a negative, destructive force, right? They are collectively doing that. So when these two forces become equally powerful, then what happens is this world collapses, the world as we see it. And that is how this Shankar, that is, when we collectively meditate, we do tapasya, then the world as we see it will change, will be destroyed. The old vicious world will be destroyed, and then a new world order, which is called Satyug, will come into place. Okay, so this is about Shankar. And when we say Shiv Baba, we are not talking about this, we are talking about a point of light only. Okay, now today I would like to start our new chapter, which is called the Srishti Chakra or the World Drama Wheel. So, when I was talking about the fact that this world is never created, never destroyed, and if it was so, then we would have an answer about whether the hen came first or the egg came first. Then I mentioned that this world is not like a straight line, it's not linear. This whole existence is cyclic in nature because you see, we are very used to linear thinking. We only know that something starts one day, has a middle and an end. And although we use these words eternity, eternal, never ending, but we really don't understand what is eternity. Eternity is one of the most difficult concepts for the human mind to comprehend, because the human mind is right now fixated with linear thinking. So, in order to understand the eternal cycle, we have to understand that it is a cycle, it is not a straight line, it's a cycle. And then how this eternal world drama works, we will understand bit by bit in 1 or 2 days. So today I'll start that. So let's have a picture of the world cycle first. So this is the picture, and in this picture we have, this cycle. So this cycle is, this is one cycle shown, and this cycle identically repeats over and over again. Okay, so this is how the world cycle keeps revolving, and this is called the world drama wheel. So this is a chakra or a wheel, and it keeps revolving over and over again. So let's understand some details about the cycle. So one cycle takes one cycle from the beginning to this end. So you begin here and then you end here, which is again the new beginning, which is not the absolute end, and this is not the absolute beginning, but for purposes of understanding we would assume that this is the beginning and then it comes up to this. So one cycle takes 5,000 years. Okay, one cycle's duration is 5,000 years. And in this 5,000 years, there are 4 parts. It is equally divided into 4 parts. And every part of the cycle is 1250 years. Okay, is that clear? Yes. So the cycle is 5,000 years, one chakra, and then every part of it divided into 4 equal parts. Every part is 1250 years. Now the first phase of the cycle we call the golden age, which you can see in golden color, right? So this is the golden age. 1250 years this golden age lasts, and in this golden age there is Sri Narayan and Sri Lakshmi depicted. So Sri Lakshmi and Sri Narayan rule the world in this 1250 years. And then second phase of the cycle is the silver age, which is called the Treta Yuga. So the golden age is called the Satyug, silver age is called the Treta Yuga, and that is shown in silver color, and that also lasts for 1250 years. And in that silver age, Treta Yuga, there is a picture of Sri Ram and Sri Sita shown. So Sri Ram and Sri Sita rule the world in this Treta Yuga. Okay. Then there is the Copper Age, and it is shown in the third phase, and that is also 1250 years. It is called Dwapar Yuga or Copper Age. And in this Copper Age, Abraham, Buddha, Christ, and all the forms of worship of deities are shown. So there is the worship of Shiv Baba as a Shiv Jyotirlingam, there is the worship of Sri Krishna, worship of Sri Ram Sita, every form of worship is shown here. And then there are the other establishers of religions, prophets like Buddha, Jesus and Abraham shown in this picture. So this is the Copper Age. And then there is the Iron Age, Kali Yuga, which is again 1250 years. And in this picture, in this phase, it is shown that there is Vardhaman Mahavir, there is the Sannyasi, there is Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and then there are other people who are forming groups, religious groups, having discussions about how to reform this world or bring about happiness in this world. And then there is a small little yug, white color, where the clock is striking 12, and that is shown as a separate time called the Confluence Age or Sangam Yuga. So this is the Sangam Yuga or Confluence Age depicted. And in this time, white color age, a little small phase that is shown. And at this time, it is shown Shiv Baba and Brahma. So this is the time at the end of Kali Yuga when Shiv Baba comes, enters the body of Brahma Baba, and then teaches us the teachings which we when follow, we create the sanskars to go back to this golden age. Okay, so this is how we are coming. Okay, so what we are trying to say is, it takes only 5,000 years for the golden age to change into the iron age. Okay. Now this is a little different from what other people in the world tell you, because as I told you, this knowledge that we are discussing and studying here comes from Shiv Baba, and every other scripture is written by human beings. And so human beings tell you that this cycle is lakhs of years old, and then Satyug was lakhs of years ago, and then science will tell you millions of years ago the world was created. And you see, if you believe that the world was created millions of years ago, or Satyug was millions of years ago, and then Kali Yuga is very far away, it's not in the near time, because the Shastras say that 40,000 years are left for Kali Yuga. So if you believe that, and if you believe science also, science says that destruction is very far away, some millions of years later the destruction will take place. So if you believe these two theories, then you are somewhere in the middle, right? And being in the middle is a very comfortable position. So don't do anything about anything, because you're in the middle, you're neither in the beginning nor at the end. So science and the scriptures make us very comfortable about action, that you can't do anything, and we call that learned helplessness. So you are trained to feel helpless, you are trained to feel that all the external factors are determining everything and I have nothing to do, and I'm somewhere in the middle, and only when the time comes I can do something. But Shiv Baba tells us this is not true. And Shiv Baba tells us it is a very finite small cycle of 5,000 years, and we are at the end. We are at the end, and it is now or never. If we don't do something to change our sanskars now, then we would never see the light of the day, we would never see the golden age. Now, what does Shiv Baba, why does Shiv Baba come? So, Shiv Baba comes and tells us that it is time for the old world order to collapse. Yes, can you see that the way the climate change is happening, or the way the human, hatred in the heart and minds of men is increasing, or the way the world is increasingly moving towards the Third World War. If you look at all of these things, and if you ask yourself, is that evitable? Is that something that you can avoid? No, you can't. Because it's the disintegrating force is now out of control. So this old world order will collapse, and it is collapsing every day. Yes, can you feel in this birth, from the time you started your journey in this birth, how much the world has changed from that time? Do you think about it? Yes, I remember that when I was a child, the mornings and the days were very different from what they are now. Even the feel of the morning and the day was very different. The human connection was different, the relationships were different. We were not running after money. This was not the state of the world. People believed in love and cooperation. And there was something called, neighborly feeling, and people were cooperating with each other. And all of that has changed in a matter of 30 years. And more so since the smartphones came, it has been a huge change. And after COVID, you see, the world pre-COVID and the world post-COVID is not the same. But what happens is, we get used to the new normal, and we don't mind it. And we don't sit and think about how much the world has changed. And Shiv Baba tells us that, this world is slowly, going towards collapse and disintegration. And you can't do anything about it, because that is how it is destined to happen. But what you need to do about it is that there is an imperishable part in the world, and there is a perishable part. So the perishable part will perish, but you, the soul, are not perishable. The bodies are perishable. You, the soul, are eternal. So what you do is, now you start recognizing that you are not the body, you are not the world you live in, you are the soul. And you start separating yourself mentally and then filling yourself with Baba's powers. So that when it is time to leave the body, you leave the world, but you are in your full state. And then after this present world, there is going to be a new world order in place, which is called the Golden Age or Satyug or world of heaven or divinity. And because you have made the effort while living in Kali Yuga to become pure, to be functioning at your highest spiritual potential, then you go to Satyug when the world collapses. Okay, so Baba says this is why Shiv Baba comes at the end. And now we will try to understand what happens in these 4 ages. So in the first age, the first and the second age, the golden age and the silver age, everything is pretty much, good and sorted out. So it is a world of, do you remember some time back I asked you what kind of, what would you like to have in a new world? And you people said that, the environment should be pollution free, and then we should be happy and peaceful and joyful. And so all of those things are here. Now you must think about this, that do you in your conscious memory remember a time when there was all happiness, all peace, no problems, no sorrow? Do you remember any time in your conscious memory where the world was like this? Do you? No, you don't. Ever since you're born, you only see, you see happiness, but you see sorrow also. You see peace, but you see peacelessness also. But then if I tell you that, it's never possible for the world to be absolutely peaceful and happy and joyful, then you don't like the idea, do you? Yes. And then second thing, have you ever seen gender equality, caste equality in this world? You've never seen it. Class, caste, gender, equal, you have never seen. But you believe in that idea of equality, don't you? Or these days you say equity, whatever. But you believe in it, that everybody deserves at least love and respect can be equal. You believe in that, right? The roles could be different, but the love and respect could be equal. You don't believe that somebody is lesser than or greater than anybody. Do you believe that? Yes, if I told you that, by design, women are lesser than men, do you believe that? No, by design they are not. But then now it has come to be like that. So there must have been a time. Why do you so strongly believe that there is a time when there is happiness, when there is peace, when there is love, there is love and respect for all? Why do you believe in that time? Because there is a time like that. And that time is not mentioned in our history. That time is not mentioned in our mythology. Does our history and mythology ever mention a time when women and men were treated with dignity? Both of them were treated with dignity? No, they don't. Even in the age of Ramayana, we hear that Sita had to prove her purity. Yes, and that in the age of Mahabharata, Draupadi was, insulted in front of the whole court. So then when was the time, people say, when it's Women's Day, people say, Yatra Naristu Pujante Tatra Ramante Devata, which means where the women are respected, there the deities reside. So where was that place where the deities resided and the women were respected? So it is in these two ages. So Shiv Baba comes and tells us that this part of your history you have missed. And history, so this is the time of good news, when everything is just good. And do you know good news is no news? Good news is never written about. So in these two ages, history is never written. And so we need Shiv Baba, who is the Trikal Darshi, the one who knows the beginning, middle and end. He comes and tells us that there was this time, Golden Age, 1250 years, the rule of Sri Lakshmi and Narayan, and Silver Age, the rule of Sri Ram and Sita. And here Baba tells us that in this Silver Age, Ram doesn't go to Vanvas. This is an age where Sri Ram and Sri Sita are just the king and queen, and there is no Ravan, no war. It is a world of, purity, peace, happiness, and everything right and good. Okay. Later we write, stories about this world where we write Sita was abducted. But Ram Rajya as it existed, in Ram Rajya there was everything that was righteous and proper. And in Hindi we say, Ram Raja, Ram Praja, Ram Sahukar hai, Base Nagri Jiye Raja Dharam ka upkar hai, which means in Ram Rajya, the king is like Ram, the Praja is like Ram, the subjects are like Ram, and the merchants are like Ram, and there is just righteousness, and that is this world. When we say we want Ram Rajya, we are not talking about the Rajya where Sita was abducted. Do you want that kind of Rajya? No. When you talk about Ram Rajya, you are talking about a world where nothing goes wrong, right? So this Sri Lakshmi Narayan Rajya and this Ram Rajya, this was the world for 1250 years. And this is not mentioned in our history and mythology, and Shiv Baba comes and gives us the knowledge of this Rajya. And he tells us that you belong to this world, you have lived that world. That's why, you feel that something is not right about the world as it exists now. Now just think about it. There are many religions and many philosophies which tell you that the world as it exists today is the only way the world ever exists. They say that all the time there was violence, anger, there was always, sorrow in this world. But if it was always like this, then it should be normal for us, right? We should feel okay with it. But why do you feel trapped in this world? Why do we want a different world? Why do we desire for happiness and peace? And why do we desire for a world where there is equal love and respect? Because there existed this kind of world, it's only not mentioned in our history because at that time when that world existed, it was not written about because there was nothing to write about it. And then when we wrote history from the Copper Age, then we wrote about the present time of the Copper Age where things had become imperfect. So that is why Shiv Baba comes and introduces us to this world where everything was good and fair and perfect and equal love and respect, and Shiv Baba says that this is the world you have lived in for 2500 years, and that's why you crave for love and peace and respect and happiness. Okay, and then starts the Copper Age. Now what happens is, when the soul comes to this golden age, takes birth after birth after birth, by the Copper Age, the soul is depleted. It is in half its energy. Okay, so just like the law says, energy in motion depletes itself. So the soul is also an energy, and when that energy comes into motion, when the energy, soul, spiritual energy, you take birth after birth, then you lose half of your power. Okay, and then when you lose half of your power, then just like when darkness is removed, when you become half full, when it is dark, then the light goes out, then darkness sets in. When the bulb, it shines a little less, then what happens? That gap is filled by darkness. So similarly, when the soul loses half of its power, then the soul is attacked by vices: lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. So in this world there is no lust, no anger, no ego, no attachment, no greed. Yes, and if there is no lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, there is no sorrow. Because the reason for sorrow is the vices. Do you understand this one? That the sorrow is not because of the circumstances, the sorrow is because of the vices. Let us understand this a little. Suppose you work in an office and you are the junior and somebody is the boss. But the boss treats you respectfully and you treat the boss respectfully, and then you are not made to feel lesser than the boss. Yes? Then would you mind working in a junior position? No. Because when you and okay, another problem could be that you are not made to feel lesser, but you feel lesser. But when you understand that I am not lesser than anybody else and nobody else is making you feel lesser than anybody, then would you mind working there? No, because it's just work. You go work, you get less money, but that's okay. That money is enough to pay for your needs, and then you have this feeling that I am respectful, I am respectable, I am lovable, I am worthy, and then everybody around treats you with that same respect. Then there is no problem with working in different positions. So, but when there is ego, what is ego? Ego tells you that when you do something or have something, then you are defined by it. And what you do, what you have, makes you lesser or greater than somebody else. Yes, and how we are trained into ego, are we not? When you go to school and you give an exam, or it is said take an exam, then when you take an exam, then and you get less marks, then your parents tell you that when you get less marks, you are lesser than the other students. And the next time you go to school, you should not go with your head held high, but you should be ashamed about it. And then the school becomes a war zone. You don't have friends in school. You have good students and bad students in school. Or those that matter and those that don't matter. Or those who are paid attention to and those that are neglected. Because we get different marks is not the problem. But there is value attached to those marks, and those marks define your worth. That becomes the problem. So today if I ask you, every human being also has a price. Yes, just like things have prices on them, we have a price. And what is my price? It is the summation of all the values that I associate with whatever I have and whatever I do. So if I have a big house, big job, everybody respects me, I am held high in the society, then my price is higher. And then somebody who doesn't have all of that, their price is lower. So only things don't have a price tag, people also have a price tag here. And that is an ego based world. But when there is no ego, then also people have different roles, but you are not lesser or greater than anybody because of what you have or what you do. It's just they do something else, you do something else. Yes. So when you go to a market, you see mango, apple, banana, papaya. It's beautiful that there are different fruits. But when you start saying, mango is better than papaya and papaya is, better than apple, that is when the problem starts. Otherwise, until you recognize that every fruit is unique and every fruit comes with its unique benefits and everything is valuable, then there is no problem. Yes, and then people say, when you eat kiwi or, some dragon fruit, then that's a good fruit to eat. And then when you eat the local and cheap fruit, then you are, then that's not a good fruit to eat. Not because of the benefit they bring, but because how they are priced in the market. So whatever is higher priced is good. So this is how the ego-based world works. But in Satyuga and Treta Yuga, there is no ego, there is no lust, there is no anger, there is no attachment, there is no greed, and there is no sorrow. And then when we lose half of our energy, all these vices creep in. And these vices are not something that are there from the beginning until the end. These vices come somewhere in the middle and then they continue. So, the first chapter that we studied was the soul is a pure, powerful, peaceful, blissful being of light, right? And the soul is not just like that in the soul world, but for 2 yugas, for half of our journey, we also behave like that. It's not just that we are like that in the soul world, but when we come and play our roles on this world, on this stage, we will talk about this world being a stage, and we, for 2 full yugas, for 1200 to 1250 plus 1250, 2500 years, we are in bodies playing roles, but we are pure, peaceful, powerful, blissful, and happy. Okay, so this is who you are. And then what you are today is a depleted form of you. It is a corroded form of you. So how the corrosion starts and how it advances, we will understand tomorrow. Okay, let's thank Shiv Baba for some time. Become aware that you are a soul. And remember the time when you are in your soul world, in your sweet home. In my sweet home, the world of light. I sit like a seed, a seed of peace. And from there, I come here to the corporeal world to play my role. And when I come, it is a world of divinity. A world of abundance. The elements are pure. Every soul is pure. It is a world of natural beauty and absolute purity. There is respect and love and pure joy all around. The body is made of pure elements, free from disease and tiredness. All human interactions are harmonious. There is harmony with nature. Nature is happy to serve us. It is a world full of colors and light and fragrance and beauty. I spent 2,500 years in this world. Just sit with these thoughts for some time.